Hi, everyone. This is Jen Eggert of LakiKid's Ask an Autism Parent, and you can join me every Monday live at 1 p.m. Eastern to meet other parents, share your insights, and learn tips and tricks. Today, I'm actually doing a very different show. I'm doing a personal question and answer session. So you can ask me and my husband, David, whatever you want. Now, while we're waiting for people to get on, my usual spiel, I want to thank everyone for coming. We appreciate every like, share, and tag. So remember, you could type the number 5 to subscribe to live updates. And you can like, comment, tag, share our show. We appreciate every single one of them. I want to welcome those of you watching live on Facebook or listening to the podcast on iTunes or YouTube. If you want to get alerts to watch us live and ask questions live, then remember you can visit lakikid.com/live or type the number 5 in the comment section below. So I want to welcome those of you watching. Oh, I see Angela is watching. Good afternoon, Angela. I'm happy you're here. So again, if you're joining us, today is a different show. It is Ask Anything Day. I have my husband here with me, and we are willing to talk all things raising an autistic child. But before we get into that, I want to thank our sponsor. You all know who our sponsor is. It's LakiKid. We have our wonderful Write and Chill, which was named by our daughter, which is the writable lap pad. Can't get a clear, there we go. You draw on it with the water pen and it shows the color. And then when it dries, the color goes away. Hi, Angela. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome to the show. So again, LakiKid is our sponsor, and we do have these writable weighted lap pads on our Kickstarter. I will give more information on that towards the end of the show. So again, ask us anything. Prepare your questions and get them ready, folks. Now, first I want to talk about parenting styles. I'm very much the parent that I hold her back, and I will admit it. I am afraid she's going to get hurt, or it's not going to be a positive situation. And David?
Her biggest fear is failure. She doesn't want to see our daughter fail at anything, which holds her back. Whereas I'm very opposite, where failure builds character.
Now, it was 2 years ago, the preschool Riley was in had decided, without our consent, to hold her back for another year of 5K. I was seeing numbers that showed that she should stay for 5K. He requested all new evaluations, and remember, you can request your child to be evaluated whenever you want. So he requested all new evaluations about 3 weeks before the end of the school year. They came up to us 2 weeks, week and a half before the end of the school year, and told us our daughter was graduating from 5K into kindergarten. I didn't think it was possible, so I was willing to let her stay, where David was the one who really pushed. And all of that has accumulated into Riley finding her first few months of kindergarten were rough. We had a lot of rough times. And then as kindergarten progressed, we realized the teacher was not the best fit for us. So her wonderful principal moved her to a better teacher. And then at the end of last year, her teacher in the IEP meeting let me know she is moving to first grade as well, so she kept Riley on. Now, what does this mean for Riley today? Today, this means Riley no longer has an IEP because she found the right teacher who found the way to teach her. This also means, and this is something David and I went to this morning, and it means the world to us. I'll show you one piece at a time. Riley won the certificate of reading. This was for the highest numbers in MAP testing. So when they say your autistic child struggles with MAP testing, don't listen to them and let them try. This is the little ribbon that got put around her neck for her reading award. And she also won Terrific Kids, which is for the year. This was for her behavior in the classroom, her helpfulness, her improvement. Everything kind of culminated in this Terrific Kid Award. So I want all of you to know that it doesn't matter where you start, your ending can be far from where you began, and it will be. This journey has led us from them telling us she would never talk to today us watching with pride and taking a million pictures, which I will post some in group later, of Riley winning these awards. So for us, our parenting styles being so very different,
Polar opposites.
They really have benefited our child. So if you're a mom out there and you're struggling, ask dad's help if dad is around. Get him involved. I take care of the day to day, but David will admit he is heavily involved in everything, especially our children's education. We participate when we can. We go to things, we do things, even the little things, and people are going to laugh. But Riley loves when we join her for lunch. And it's just the little things. So thank you, Kimberly. So they really mean a lot. Now, if you have any questions again that you want to ask me or Dave, please put them in the comments section now so that we can address them for you. But as you can see, where you begin with a good parenting team does not have to be stuck. Kimberly, I find that quite humorous. Kimberly's husband deals with anything math related. My children will tell you right now, if it's math related, they go to daddy.
I'm the mathematician of the family.
Daddy does math, mom doesn't. Now, I kind of want to get into this briefly. I struggle in math because when I was educated as a child in second grade, they split me between a special needs classroom and a regular classroom because of my ADHD and decided I was unteachable. So now I struggle with math. So I'm really careful about if they need to pull Riley out of class, when they pull her out. And this is something that you all may want to think about for the fall. Question: when are you going to pull my child out of class for resource or for whatever reason, therapy? Because if not, you're going to get those split learning like I have, and you're not actually going to have the child fully understand the concept of math or English or whatever it is. Now let's go to Julie. Welcome, Julie. Thank you for watching. You're new here. You have a 12-year-old son in the same way. He goes through so much. So if I could bubble him from something that will add to his depression and anxiety, I do. I'm worried that since he's getting older, I will not be able to shield him from parts of life he will not understand, like crime. He's terrified to be alone in a room because he already thinks bad things are going to happen to him. How do I take steps for myself to deal with this? David?
So one of the things, there's a healthy amount of failure and shielding, and then there's allowing them to experience that failure, because if we shield them constantly, when they do get older and we protect them from the failure, they don't know how to cope or manage that issue, which we see throughout the generation of the younger generation now. Is they don't have the coping mechanisms that the older generations and I consider myself an older generation, even if I am younger, that we can handle the failure, we can overcome that using different mechanisms. Where when we protect our kids, which is everybody's natural instinct is to protect them, then they don't build those skills so that if they do deal with the failure or the disappointment later on, you know, they don't know how to overcome those obstacles, and that allows them to shut down and creates more meltdowns and more issues than what you're wanting to deal with.
And when it comes to crime and being terrified to be alone, Riley is that child. Last week, she came home from school and a boy told her about a monster. And David laughs because it was, when the whole story came out, it was kind of humorous. There was a monster at her friend's house who was a dark man with a wearing all black, and he punched out the boy's window and jumped out the window and ran away. Now, as an adult, we find that kind of humorous. But to her, that was the epitome of fear. She would not be alone for a long time. We had to give her the skills. And one of the fun ways we gave her the skills was yesterday we brought her to an amusement park. And David and our teenage son weren't keen on doing boo blasters, but we all went together as a family, and I told Riley, you take charge. All these monsters here, you get to blast away with your little blasty gun. So giving them a sense of control is very important. We try and give Riley as much control in her life, even though she's only 7, because we're there. If she fails, we're there to pick her up still. But if we don't let her start having that control now, having that healthy dose of reality and fear, then when she's outside of our care, what's going to happen? That's my biggest fear.
Nora, how to deal with parent burnout with dealing with my daughter Cheyenne, who is nonverbal. She's 9. I'm a single mom. She also has epilepsy. So when we were told Riley was nonverbal at 18 months old, the first thing that Jen started doing was teaching her basic sign language. Very, very simple commands that really took a lot of stress off, because it just, grunts or sounds trying to tell you what they want, like eating, very simple. Just, hey, I'm hungry. It really helped tremendously. We started with the signs. She started, talking, and obviously, not one case of autism is the same. Every kid is different. There is no same diagnosis, same brain, or anything, and that's what makes autism very difficult, in my opinion, to handle. Is because you can't go to your neighbor's house who their child's diagnosed with autism and have the same, dealings, interactions, experience. But for us, it was really, getting the basics down so that we had a understanding of what she was wanting, what she was needing, which really helped her out along, because she felt like she could communicate with us.
And people have to understand, I may not be a single parent, but for most of Riley's life up until the last year, Dave worked on the road. So I was a single parent Monday to Friday, and I had to deal with it all by myself. So when you're dealing with parent burnout as a single parent, my first recommendation is start talking to your doctor and your case manager and your therapist and ask for respite care. It may not seem like a lot. We got 8 hours a month. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough that the two of us had time to go out together once a month to spend time together. And Nora, in your case, it could be you could go and get your nails done or just go grocery shopping alone. We also used half of that time to take care of our teenage son to make sure that he was still getting enough time. So Nora, please look into respite care.
one thing, back to Nora, you have to, even if it's after she's asleep,
Yes.
taking 30 minutes to yourself, just sitting in your bedroom, reading, just relaxing. Take a few minutes every day to yourself. That is the ultimate, refreshing peace. Because if you're not taking time for yourself and all you're doing is go, 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 that burnout's just going to continue till you get to a point where your health will start failing because you're not looking after yourself. You're only looking after your child, which is very hard because as a parent, that's our goal, is to make sure our children are good, they're taken care of, and all that.
And the reason I laugh, folks, I'm sorry. When he mentioned reading, I read before bed every night. That is my time. Multiple times over the length of our marriage, I have had someone yell at me at 2:00 in the morning to turn my Kindle off and go to bed because I get so caught up in the me time and in the relaxation of it. Kimberly, my daughter is 13 and crazy mood issues lately with anger and laughter at me. Kimberly, unfortunately, I'm going to tell you something you're not going to like. Welcome to puberty. Puberty really messes with our autistic children. Now, Dave and I have older children that are at various stages of puberty right now. And I can tell you, even with neurotypical children, puberty is a ugly, ugly beast. We have one that cries if you look at him wrong. We have one that completely shuts out the world. It's only her and her books.
And then we have one that gets very angry.
Yeah.
It's very hard for anyone to deal with puberty. When we've all been through it, we know what we went through. You're just figuring out what the world's all about, and then your body goes through this massive change, which is hard enough for anybody. But you add in the autism factor, where they may not be able to process what's going on, and it sends them into overload. There's, for we were discussing today, Jen's father asked, so when she goes in a meltdown, you just squeeze her all the time? And a lot of times, yes, because that's what she needs. She needs that pressure, that deep, constant pressure. Obviously, I'm not a small guy, so I squeeze her as hard as I can. Other times it may be, hey, it's too loud. Whatever it may be, it's hard enough for a normal kid, but you add in that autism, that experience, and it's hard for them to deal with that at all.
Now, Kimberly, my first recommendation is going to be contacting your doctor. Talk to your PCP and see what they can do to help. I know with one of our children, we have actually had to do mood stabilizers. And it took him from this child who's in a dark place to he's happy. He's now off the meds, actually, but he's living a good life. So look into talking to your doctor and seeing what your doctor says. Angela, how did I know you were going to ask me this? Angela is one of my dearest friends, and she loves to try and stump Jen. So how do you deal with Riley understanding that she's different? I went to a conference at the beginning of March, and as most of you know, I got to meet and speak with Temple Grandin. I also got to hear her speak as a keynote speaker. Now, one of the things that really gets to Riley is when you see something. Like, she's a very visual child, like her father. So I showed the pictures of what a normal brain looks like versus the pictures that Temple Grandin had made of her brain doing the exact same thing as the normal brain. And maybe I'll post those this week, but there was a huge difference. The normal brain only maybe a quarter lit up. The autistic brain, 3/4 of the brain was lit up and actively firing. So I explained to Riley that everyone is different. There are no two people on the earth that is the same. And she really likes the thought that her brain is brighter colors than everyone else's. I mean, she's 7. That's age appropriate for 7. As you get into older children, I know, Angela, your kids are mostly younger, but as you get into older children, you would change that, but keep it based on their knowledge and their understanding.
Also, I'm adding in there, for us, it was a lot of, there's a video, what is
Oh,
autism,
yes.
that I absolutely love because it breaks them down, especially for the younger kids. It's geared more towards the 4 to 8 year old level. That is just a phenomenal educational piece. It really breaks down autism, kind of how their brains function, how they operate, how they're different. That really opens their eyes because there is so much visual stimulation. That there's just a lot of good in that video.
Now, Kimberly, again, the anger and the mood swings are most likely puberty, and I think seeing her doctor would be the best course. And then you guys can talk about if you want to do mood stabilizers, therapy. It's controversial. I am not there yet, so I don't have an opinion yet, but birth control and stuff like that. So my recommendation is talk to your doctor. Now, Jason.
Hold on.
Oh,
Right
what did
above
you
Jason's
say?
comment, she said, doctors keeps telling me it's the age and laughs. Well, it's very unprofessional if your doctor's laughing at you. That's completely unprofessional.
I would find a new primary
I
care.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to. But yeah, that would not fly too well with me. Yes, it is age related, but they're supposed to be trained to assist with these, not laugh at us. We have enough issues as parents, with kids with autism, that you you don't need anybody laughing at you. You need support. We've been blessed with a phenomenal physician locally. We struggled for years to get Riley's diagnosis. As soon as we went in there, we walked out with our diagnosis, which we knew all along. Even though North Carolina would not give us an autism diagnosis, that was based on her having a relationship with Jenn and I. And that was it. That was the only reason they would not. But as soon as we moved to South Carolina, the school recognized it, which got us into the doctor, who instantly recognized it and has just been there for us 100%. You know, you have to build a team around your kids. You have to have good support, whether it's family, friends, doctors, therapists. There's so much that goes into these children that you have to build that team. And if a team member's not working, you have to find the one that does work for your family.
When Riley started therapy here, in-home therapy, our first therapist did not work at all. And then we got this woman who walked into our house and sat down and started talking to Riley. And normally Riley doesn't pay, at that point, she didn't pay attention to new people who came into her world. But this woman broke into Riley's world. And today, her son is in the first grade as well. And she was there to watch Riley receive these awards, as was her former preschool teacher who thought it would be best to hold her back. So Riley proved today to these women that their work did really help her. So a great therapy team, doctor team, like Dave said, you need a team. It does not take one person.
It takes a lot more.
Now, Jason, my son who is 8 with autism and ADHD tends to have more tantrums and meltdowns when I interact with him compared to my wife. What is your suggestion on how to best interact with my son from a father's perspective? Am I being too strict on my tone of voice?
I am the disciplinarian. So Riley obviously has more meltdowns because as soon as she hears "go to dad," she knows that there's trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's a role that I accept because it's not in Jen's heart or her body to be mean to the kids, because she just wants what's best for them. Again, I'm a realist at heart. I want my kids to be prepared for life. So the way I look at it is, I've got a boss to answer to, just like everybody else in the world has someone that they're going to answer to. So they have to know that, hey, there's actions there's consequences to their actions. They know if Jen's dealing with it, well, it's probably going to be okay because it's mom. If dad gets involved, there's going to be discipline, and I know the meltdowns are coming. So I will discipline them. I will handle whatever. I will say whatever needs to be said. I will deal with that meltdown afterwards, because they need to understand, just because there's an issue, doesn't mean the world stops. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that your meltdown is any different. Because again, I'm trying to prepare them for life. Well, if they go into that epic meltdown during work, that's not going to look too well upon them. And that's a hard thing, is getting to that point where it's going to happen, and it gets easier, because Riley, now we still have our meltdowns, especially if it's something major, but the minor stuff, it's okay. I'm sorry, Dad. I'll change. I'll fix it. Right. A lot of that is, I've been the disciplinary since she was little, and it hasn't changed. Be consistent. You don't want to, I don't want to say be softer, but you have to get that level. You have to take the charge and make sure that they understand the consequences. As a father, that is the hardest thing, because Riley's my daddy's girl. She has me wrapped around that finger, but at the same time, I know if I don't discipline her, later on the government will.
and not only that, David takes the time, and Jason, I know you personally, and I know you do too. It's that taking the time to form a connection with your child. Mm-hmm. They always say the first 5 days of a child's life is where you bond the most. But what happens when it's an autistic child? It is a constant challenge to bond and connect with your child their entire life. Find things. Jason, I know you guys tend to share things about superheroes and the Avengers. He's big into Avengers and stuff like that. So share those likes with him. Get involved on a personal level. Dave and Riley tend to, I'm not into it, but they love football. So I let them do football things.
Yep. You got to find the balance. You can't always be the disciplinarian. You have to find a balance with that, but you definitely want to make sure that you still have that authority, that they know who's in charge and they're not in charge. And that's a hard thing.
Yep. Now, Nora, she does do sign language. That's awesome. And remember, other than sign language, we do have the option of visual charts. And those are awesome.
Now, Nora, as far as respite care, we actually were able to use a neighbor that we trusted. She had a relationship with Riley. Obviously every state is different, but look into using a family member, a friend, someone that you trust that has a relationship with your child, because that is always an option.
So what you're going to do that is that when you seek respite care, you tell them that you are willing to find your own care provider if they provide the funds. That's how we got around one locally doing respite care. Nora, I understand that you're scared of puberty. We're petrified. We both are. I'm actually going to be addressing that hopefully soon in a show, because puberty, like I said, in itself is probably a 4 or 5 hour conversation. So we will be addressing that. Now, Kimberly, I find that hilarious. Your 14-year-old locks herself in her bedroom only wanting chocolate. The other day, someone asked Riley to go get something. She walks out of the room, comes back, and she goes, "You want a chocolate, right?" We're like, "No, tablet." She goes, "Oh," comes back with the tablet, and she goes, "But now I want chocolate." Riley and She has her mother's love for chocolate. That's all I can say.
Yes.
Now, Julie, the educators and other professionals call my son a puzzle. He's high functioning on something and low on others. He became verbal at age 6. His anxiety is off the chart. We are not able to take him anywhere. My husband works 6 days a week. I also feel trapped in my home. The counselors and psychiatrists have been working with him for years. My husband and I have no date life. My son is also starting puberty as well. First of all, does your son go to school? I know sometimes he actually works his schedule that he can have a day off in the middle of the week so that we can have a day date, because that way we don't have to find caregivers for Riley.
So the trapped in the home, I definitely understand that. Um,
I
but
didn't leave our house for 5 months.
the thing is, find find a place, even a small park, where there may be one or two kids there, but not much. You have to build them up slowly. With Riley, she was just going to meltdown mode every time we went anywhere. And then you get the death stares from other parents who want to be judgmental because your child's crying in a store or misbehaving in their eyes, when in reality it's just them, reacting to the situation. Start small, one or two, three people, and just keep going back for a little bit, a couple times. Then you go to a bigger park, where there might be 5, 6 kids, and you just gradually build them up. That's what we had to do with Riley. Riley was the same way. Now, as Jen said, we went to an amusement park yesterday where hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people walking around, and we had one mini meltdown where she threw a fit because dad was riding with her brother and not her, so she got mad. But that, 4 years ago, there would be no way. We did care when she was younger, and it was not pleasant. Nobody enjoyed themselves. It was tough because we want our kids happy, and we're trying to give them this happy experience, but they're still in meltdown because it's too much for them. You have to start small and just gradually build them. And I'm sure you've done some stuff. Try and think outside the box. It doesn't have to be a park. It could be just a field. Just getting out by himself for a little bit. And then introducing different items. And just like I said, start small. Find
a grocery store go first thing in the morning to the grocery store when it's empty.
Yeah.
Or late at night. Pick times
when it's not busy.
Yeah. Pick times where there's not a lot going on at that location and go then. Now, Nettie, I love your saying,
Yes.
and I say this all the time. When everyone says, well, she's autistic, does that mean she's normal or not? I said, normal's a dryer setting. Doesn't mean anything to me. That word means nothing in my family. You're very correct, though. Each of our kids are different and special and unique and fun in their own ways. Angela White, I am actually doing a show on book recommendations in the next couple of weeks. So I will be talking about book recommendations for children and for parents and caregivers.
And Kim, we definitely understand that. We are in the same boat. We used to travel an hour, just to up to 2 hours, up to 2 hours to find the care that we needed. We got very, very lucky with the town we live in. We live in a town of 5,000. There's basically one family care physician, one dentist, 2 eyeglass places, very, very small town. But if I have to travel for my child, I will. It won't stop me. I'll put in the time. It makes me a lot more tired, but in the long run, when they learn the skills and that you have the support, it makes it a lot easier.
And Kimberly, I know you're saying that you don't have the support in Georgia, but you have the support in the LakiKid group. LakiKid /groups, sorry. That is the LakiKid.com /group. That is the link to join the group, which I am very active in. and in there multiple times a day. Come join us for support. We are a family that love and support each other. And you're right, Ohio and Virginia do tend to have great support systems. Um, I agree, Julie. The team that you have for your child is imperative. And yes, it took Julie 6 years to find the right team.
It's not going to happen overnight.
It's not a race. We're not in a race of any kind. Angela, I bombard O's doctors with articles from medical journals when I have problems getting them to understand his struggles. That is an excellent idea. Dave here is the researcher of the family. So he will come at this from every angle saying, well, this is what the research says. This is where we are now. This is where we need to be.
Do your homework. You know, everybody uses Google. You can use it for good or bad. You can create a world of just disdain and terror, or you can find the articles that actually show you what you need to do. You can't just go to Google, the first page. You have to go through and really look. There's millions upon millions of entries. You know, just because one story says this, you can't take that to heart. You really have to dig into it.
Angela, thanks for sharing with us. Angela actually used medication during puberty and it really helped her. Now, talking to Angela and knowing her the way I do, Angela, she sees a lot of herself in her children. As David sees a lot of himself in Riley, we think that some of the sensory things, and I know Angela agrees with me here, some of the sensory things our children probably got from us. And I know, Angela White, you and I have discussed that at length, that some of it came probably from us. Now, Chrissy, finding a sitter is super hard.
It's not only there's thousands and thousands of options, but as a parent with a child with autism, finding someone that you trust to be responsible for your child and deal with the meltdowns or anything else that could pop up is very, very difficult.
That's why I recommend a sitter, or a respite care worker. Also, if you look on the website care.com, they do have sitters on there that have experience. I know in my tiny town we can't find that, but they do have sitters on there that have experience. In some towns, therapists actually work at night as sitters. So look into that, because I know that was an option presented to us, using a therapist as a sitter. Our therapist is talking to us about checking on gut health. Angela, you and I will discuss that personally because you know my feelings. Gut health has a lot to do with it.
Yes, it does.
Probiotics, when we started her on probiotics, it was something I wanted to try. And he was a little bit skeptical. But within days, he said, wow, the meltdowns decreased. The attitude issues.
The meltdowns that did happen were not as severe. You know, there's so much inside our bodies that we don't understand, that there's a lot of stuff that you can do, you know, changing diets, making sure they're getting the probiotics, doing the little stuff that really makes a big difference.
I will look into bringing someone on the show to speak specifically to gut health. Now, I'm going to have to hurry up a little bit, folks, because we are past our time frame, and I have a couple more things to discuss. Kimberly, I agree. You have a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, total opposites. We have total opposites. Trust me, we get it.
We have a sports kid. We have a, you know, very artistic kid, and then a loner kid. We get it.
Yep. I was saying Chrissy, but I'm pretty sure we're talking to Jason today. Being a stay-at-home dad for 3 years now, it's hard, but it's doable. And if you actually look at the way culture is moving now, there are more stay-at-home dads. Jason is going to be the first to tell you that he is seeking more dads that are involved. So, Chrissy, Jason, I cannot pronounce that last name. I suggest you get into contact with Jason Shea from LakiKid.com because you two have a lot in common, being very active in your children's lives. And I know Jason is looking to connect with more. Jason Shea from LakiKid is looking to connect with more dads that are doing it.
And Kimberly, a few years ago, the amusement park would not be in the question for us either. We definitely understand that.
Yep. Jason, we get it. Super tiny towns are hard. And yes, sometimes your older children are the best ones to deal with your autistic children. Our 15-year-old son knows everything. We actually are now confident enough to leave them home alone for an hour or two because he can handle her better than most people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Jason, Chrissy Jason, I'll just call you that for the sake of keeping it straight. Jason said you can PM him for sure. I think you two connecting would be a very good thing. Mm-hmm. Angela, my 21-year-old, is the biggest help with the 8-year-old, and he's getting ready to enlist. I know you're struggling with the enlisting. You and I have talked about that, but I know he also is the 8-year-old's biggest support. Has a lot of struggles, and he is amazing with him.
Build the older brother up as a hero, and thank your son for enlisting.
Yes. Now, that's all for questions, unfortunately, because we have run past our time, because today's conversation was so... Okay, we'll call you Jason K because your last name's hard to say. That's okay. My maiden name is Schwinard, and it's spelled funny, so no one understands and can say it either. Trust me, I get it. So I want to talk now quickly about our Kickstarter and how you can help LakiKid help you. We have a special going on the Kickstarter. Remember, it's the water pen where you draw, and it shows colors, and then when it dries white again. But you can not only draw. If you're a homeschool parent, you can use it for tracing letters. Something simple. So if you go to LakiKid.com/Kickstarter, we are having a very, very special flash sale. You can go and you can get it at our cost right now. If you back us on Kickstarter, you can get it at our cost. Again, LakiKid.com/Kickstarter. This thing is amazing. It's about 3 pounds. Holds out to be about this big. So it's got 4 squares on top, 4 on bottom. It's got a hook for your water pen. Your water pen actually has a safety feature. It does not unscrew the proper way. It unscrews backwards, as my husband learned the hard way. So it is a safety feature of the water pen to unscrew backwards and screw on backwards. But you can go to LakiKid.com/Kickstarter to find out more about our products, more about our company, and how to back us for as little as, I want to say, $24.99. I am waiting for Jason to confirm the price with me, or Miguel. Waiting for one of them to tell me. But you can... No. Angela, yours rolls over. Don't worry. It does roll over. It's still going. We didn't restart. We're just rolling it over and offering a flash sale. So if you want to get another one, you can get it. It is $25. Yes. For $25, which is pretty much our cost, you can back us on Kickstarter and get one of these amazing writable weighted lap pads for your child. And if you're a teacher, you can sign up for different levels. So teachers can sign up for higher level, which is a little bit higher donation, but you get more rewards with it. So $25 to back us on Kickstarter to get one of these amazing products. Please check our Kickstarter at LakiKid.com/Kickstarter. I want to thank all of you for coming today. I've enjoyed the show. Dave hasn't been on since October.
Yep.
So I'm so thankful that he was able to join us. I know a lot of you like getting different perspectives. So hopefully this gives you a different perspective on your child and your life. Again, don't forget to back us on Kickstarter, LakiKid.com/Kickstarter. You can join our Facebook group at LakiKid.com/group. The Kickstarter, when does it end? Angela, I will get you the exact date on when it ends if Jason does not answer, because I cannot remember for the life of me. Sorry, for those of you that know me, you know I forget things easy. But we will, I will get you an answer by the end of today, Angela, if Jason doesn't end. So, Chris, it's okay if you miss a show. I really think you will benefit from this show. So just go ahead and watch it now. Now, there are 67 hours left in our Kickstarter. 67 hours. So we have until Thursday for you guys to get this flash sale and get in on our Kickstarter. So please, please, please check out our Kickstarter. Bookmark it on your computer if you have to for payday. We are good till Thursday. After backing, how much will the lap pad be? $25. Your backing price is the price of the lap pad. So go to the Kickstarter page and it'll explain everything. It's really laid out well that you can get all the answers you need. If you don't get the answers you need, feel free to PM myself or Jason or post in the LakiKid group. We will help you find a way to back our Kickstarter if you can. The retail price of the lap pad after the Kickstarter campaign ends will be $60, and you can continue to back it after Thursday, but the price will go up. This is a flash sale until Thursday only. Again, flash sale until Thursday only. So I want to thank all of you for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. If you missed parts of the show, please go back and watch it in the replays. And if you have questions, join me in group. You know I'll be there. And I will answer any questions I can. If you have a question for Dave, I will ask my husband and come back with his answer. Just let me know that you specifically want Dave asked that question. So thank you all for joining us. We've had a great day talking about our Kickstarter and most importantly, talking about parenting a child with autism from both parents' point of view. Thank you all for coming. Remember, you can join me every Monday live at 1 p.m. Eastern to meet parents, learn tips and tricks, and share your insights. Jennifer, go get it today, girl. Trust me, you do not want to miss this deal. $25 compared to $60. It speaks for itself, folks. So thank you all for coming.
Thank y'all.
We've had a great day. Thank you for allowing me to bring my husband on the show and share our wonderful story of how we are doing it with all of you. I love you all, and I will talk to you soon. And remember, until then, every child brings good luck.